Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Asmogan and today I want to talk about Final Fantasy's PvP. Now, I finally got an opportunity to experience it last night when I was, well, suffice to say, really looking for a change of outfit when it came to my samurai. As I'm playing through Stormblood right now on the streams, which you guys should check out, I stream pretty much every single day, but that being said, I've been really looking for a gear change set, mainly because my samurai's been wearing the Shire gear set, which doesn't look at all aesthetically like a samurai. It looks, honestly, I keep saying it looks like a blacksmith kind of uniform of some kind, like thick gloves, overall kind of leathery feel. I've been unimpressed with it. Now, I'm not saying that it's a bad gear set, it looks really bad or anything like that, it just doesn't look right for samurai. So, not wanting to have my immersion continue to be fucked with while I played through Stormblood, I decided, screw it, I'm going to look up some glams, see if there's anything that really catches my eye. So I went online, looked through different community pages, and I found a website that is just people who share their glams. Don't worry, I'll link it in the description. And there I found a couple that looked really cool, and unfortunately the gear that made up those sets was PvP gear. And my history with PvP, in a short summary, is very negative. I have a very bad experience with WoW PvP, for example. I didn't do it hardly at all. I only did it ever like a few times throughout the 16 or so years I played the game, and I never really liked it. The community of the PvP community was, if you think the normal PvE, normal raiding, normal dungeon community of WoW sucks, really, you should go into the depths of the PvP community. Some of those guys are worse by leaps and bounds, and I wouldn't know if they're still just as bad as they were back in the day, because I haven't done PvP for a while for a very long time, nor will I, given recent events. But that being said, I was hesitant to do PvP content when it came to Final Fantasy, as I am with most MMOs. The communities end up almost always unilaterally and universally being way worse than the normal PvE community counterpart that they are a part of. It's just inherent with that competitive nature. You're going up against directly other players, beating each other to the ground for victory. However, I found that the community wasn't actually that bad. The experience of PvP was really damn good. But I'm actually going to go over that in certain bullet points throughout the video. So, without further ado, let's just get into my full overall thoughts of Final Fantasy's PvP. Now, the first thing I'm going to go over is the actual gameplay, the game modes that you will be experiencing if you play Final Fantasy XIV's PvP. Now, the first one is a really brief one from me because I didn't play too many of them and I really didn't get into it as much, and that would be the Wolf's Den or the Feast matches, which are small 4v4 matches that seem to be the main objective is to kill one another, and, you know, whoever kills the most wins. That seems to be what it was. I didn't play it so much that I had it down in my memory too solidly, but out of the 2 or 3 times I played the Wolf's Den / the Feast matches, it was kind of fun. It was very tense the entire time. I mean, I played tank, I was Dark Knight, and in both matches I went up against a Paladin as the enemy team's tank. The 2 DPSs on both teams really were trying to bring down each other's tanks, as well as bring down each other's DPS, and really trying and just kick each other's asses, but damn were the healers on mark on both teams. My healer was constantly keeping me alive and keeping the DPS alive, so was theirs, and no matter how many times both I and the enemy tank would refocus on each other's healers, trying to gather our DPS together to bring out each other's healers, that way we can kill each other. All in all, it was a really tense match. It was really tense, but in the end, unfortunately, every match of Wolf's Den I played, I lost. And if you're looking for a very tense, a very responsibility-heavy feeling PvP experience, definitely play the Wolf's Den, the Feast. It's super tense, and because there's only 4 of you versus another 4, everyone has a lot of weight they gotta carry on their back. You need to deal that DPS if you're DPS, you need to tank that damage if you're tank, and you need to heal like a motherfucker if you are a healer. It was so much fun, but by God, I don't think that's my preferred mode. I just couldn't. However, the game mode that I did play the most of was called the Frontlines. Frontlines are massive 72-player battles with 3 individual teams, each one representing the grand company of the overall game, Maelstrom, Twin Adder, and the Immortal Flames. It was fantastic, by the way, playing these matches. Frontline was probably the most joyous experience I've ever had in any MMORPG when it comes to PvP. I have never had this much fun with PvP, ever. And I'll admit this up front, though I am a WoW refugee and I am coming from World of Warcraft, I never was a major PvPer. I never got into Battlegrounds too much. I was never a lover of World of Warcraft's PvP. The few times I did try it out, it seemed very much like a veterans kind of game. And though I am a veteran in terms of the game, I'm not a veteran of the PvP. By the time I was actually trying the PvP with any kind of fervor, it was probably around the middle of Wrath and early Cataclysm. I never have had a passion for PvP in any game. However, I think I could have it in Final Fantasy, because these big frontline matches were very intuitive. They were all about capturing nodes. These nodes, once captured, would then provide your team with points. Once those points added up to 1,600, whoever got to that first wins. And obviously, whoever gets second place would get a equal size reward to that second place in comparison to first place, so on and so forth. And what I liked most, other than just like the intuitive node capture, as well as the general experience of like the chaos of the playing, you also have very unique feelings separate from the PvE aspect of Final Fantasy. Your entire ability bar is completely reset and changed up for Final Fantasy's PvP. Your abilities, your certain combo abilities are all grouped up into one button bar, which every time you press it, it then starts that combo where it switches off to the next ability as you go. It was really odd, and I found it fun, but damn, like, it's going to be super jarring when you first start getting into PvP, whether it's the Feast or Frontlines. That's something to note. Your entire ability bar is going to be switched up, so definitely look up some guides on your individual classes and how they are going to play in PvP, and how they play different from the PvE experience. That's definitely something to look up, and I highly recommend it. But that aside, the Frontlines, out of the dozen plus I played through, I had fun in pretty much all of them. I wish I had recorded it, because someone actually teabagged me at one point. And I am gonna that is gonna kind of play into another part of this review. But to sum up, overall, the gameplay aspect of playing Frontline, the Feast, and the overall my experience so far of playing the just initial PvP experience of Final Fantasy, I have to say it's a lot more fun than I was expecting, and I might do it a lot more. It's definitely worth it for the glams alone, at the very least, which is what I'll get into next. Now, I'm sure the biggest thing that most people are going to ask themselves is, what is the incentive of playing Final Fantasy's PvP? What do I get out of the effort that I'm going to put in to face off against other players, and the stress and the anxiety and the tense moments that that's going to provide me as I play through Frontlines or the Feast or whatever, or what have you? Well, the first thing is there is a unique currency to the PvP system and unique items that you can purchase with said currency, which are called wolf marks. Wolf marks are used to purchase unique gear from the vendors at Wolf's Den. There you can purchase sets for either glam purposes or for stat purposes. There is a lot of really good gear, and at the very least, extremely unique looking gear that you can purchase from the vendors at Wolf's Den. And my current samurai glam is entirely made up of PvP gear, which looks super badass in my opinion. I really like the way this looks, and it's just awesome. I honestly, I think that's the biggest draw of the PvP, is getting that unique currency of wolf marks and then purchasing stuff that you can glam up. Another part of the reward, however, is you do get main game XP. You get two forms of XP from doing the PvP matches. You get XP, which is directly related to your PvP rankings as you go up, and you also get XP for your normal character's leveling. So if it's both a way to level normally and a way to level up through its own system. So it's kind of killing two birds with one stone, and technically three if you are after some really good glam sets with the PvP gear. It's all very simple, all very direct, and honestly the rewards felt tangible to me. It does help though that I went in with the goal of earning up enough wolf marks to purchase a set I had my eyes on. So definitely, if you got a set in mind that you want to buy pieces of because you want to set up a new glam for a character, look it up on a certain website. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but I'll put it on screen here, and it'll be in the link in the description. But there's a certain website that shows off a lot of people's glams, and a lot of the best stuff, or best looking glams, have PvP gear mixed in. So definitely check that stuff out if you're looking to glam up some of your classes with some really badass looking gear. And again, there's great recommendations, and there's a lot of stuff you can earn from playing PvP and getting those wolf marks and buying them from the vendors. Honestly, it's a three-pronged reward system. You get the rank up in the system itself, you get to level up your character, and you get unique, awesome-looking gear, which may even also stat-wise be better than what you got equipped. So definitely look into it. I highly suggest it, and at the very least, you get to have fun teabagging losers when they lose. Now, the last thing I'll go over before giving my overall thoughts of my PvP experience and playing over 12 hours of it, more or less, is what's the sportsmanship / PvP community look like? How you know, the rest of FF has such an amazing community. This has got to be where things start to get a little bit more hostile, though. This is the competitive field. This is where the hardcore players go, right? Honestly, I didn't really get that vibe at all while playing. I mean, I'm used to some really vitriolic things being said in PvP matches in certain games, especially in the Xbox Live days. But I did pay attention to the chat while we were doing some PvP rounds, and the worst it ever got was some people on our team typed in all caps when a bunch of the sprouts who were doing it the first time around and didn't look up a guide like I did were running off in random directions and weren't actually trying to capture any nodes. So some of the experienced players who wanted to happen to win that match were like, guys, go east, guys, go west, hey, guys, go to this node, go to this node. They were just trying to help people, you know, figure it out, and there was never no foul language being used, there was no insults being thrown. The most it was just frustrated instructions being provided out by veteran players who didn't want to lose that match. And honestly, even if we did lose, I didn't see any kind of hostility, and everyone still ended it off with GG, good game. Whether we lost or not, we all had fun and we tried running through. The only quote-unquote negative experience I had while playing the numerous matches I did was at one point I kind of mindlessly was chasing somebody in the middle of two of our hordes of I was playing Maelstrom and we were up against the Immortal Flames team and we were bashing at each other quick, and there was one particular Dragoon that I was fighting with my Dark Knight that I really wanted to bring down because their health was just that close, but their healers kept bringing their health almost all the way back up, and I was getting so close, so I mindlessly followed them into the mob of their group, and the entire team pounced on me and killed me, and the person I pursued did an emote where they squatted over me. It was very demeaning because it was a Viera. A little bunny girl was just squatting on my corpse until I respawned. It was very funny, and I won't even really call it a negative experience because the visual of it was making me laugh so damn hard. I honestly hope I run into that player again and get killed by them again just for the entertainment value of watching as someone squats over. It felt like I was reminded of the whole Halo Reach days when I was playing multiplayer with my friends, and I got teabagged there. It was really funny, but I guess that's the only that should really speak to how, like, just the positive aspects of the PvE side of the community is just as prevalent in the PvP community. That was the only quote-unquote negative experience I had, and honestly, it wasn't negative. The only reason I'm calling it that is because that's the literal closest thing to a bad experience I had with the PvP community and playing the PvP matches. It was a ton of fun, and I don't regret it. And honestly, I don't think I will become so, but I might become a PvPer just for the experience of, like, playing through the matches and seeing stuff like that. That was just so funny. But yeah, community is just as good, sportsmanship is just as good in PvP, and honestly, I'm incredibly impressed. I was ready for this to finally be where the negative part of the community was, and I was wrong. I've been continually wrong about that, and I'm happy about it. It was fantastic, truly. So my overall thoughts of Final Fantasy's PvP, and keep in mind my thoughts are relegated to the fact that I only played about 12, maybe a little bit over 12 hours worth of total PvP time, and it was a lot of fun. I don't regret it, and I'm happy I did. But keep that in mind that this is not coming from somebody who's played 100 hours of PvP or 1,000 hours of PvP. This is more or less just what I hope to be the general experience to be, even if I continue to play PvP well past the 12-hour mark. I just have enjoyed every match I've gotten into. The rewards seem very solid. I mean, the glams that you can get out of this seem really fucking cool. My Samurai is a great example of that, and I can't wait to see what other glams I can mix and match with some of the PvP gear. And honestly, the PvP modes are worth playing on their own just because it is really fun. It's really tense gameplay, and that's what it usually is. There's nothing more challenging than other players. And it's always something I've wanted to get into, but never had the heart to do so because I've always seen the PvP communities and MMORPGs I've been in, primarily World of Warcraft, as being super toxic, super hostile, and not very welcoming to newbies. Here, I felt like I just immediately was getting into it. I felt like everything I was learning on the spot was actually progressively making me a better and better PvPer. And honestly, I feel like I could get really good at it over time. Obviously, I'm not the best at it right now, but it's not like my KD ratio was absolutely dreadful all the time. I had like 5 to 10 kills throughout my very best matches. Well, not 10. 10's a bit far. I was probably closest to... The highest I think I got was 8 kills. I don't have a screenshot of that. The screenshots I took were early on. I'll share those, but... Of what I did play, though, I didn't do absolutely dreadful, and I did have a lot of fun. So, all in all, highly recommend to people the PvP aspect, and if you're worried like I was that there's going to be that hump of the community that's going to be super hostile and aggressive, you might get all capsed in the chat of people trying to tell you what to do because you're new and you don't know what to do because you're a little bitty sprout like I am. You know, other than that, it's more or less just as welcoming as the rest of it. The worst that can happen is someone might emote teabag you. And for some of you, if it's a female Mikite or Vieira, that might be a draw. So, who knows? But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I definitely love the PvP in FF so far, and I hope to continue to experience it. And I wouldn't have grinded it as much as I did for that Sam gear if it wasn't as enjoyable as it ended up being. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like down below. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe for more FF content, as well as, hopefully, more gaming content throughout the future. Not just FF, but primarily FF right now, because why the hell not? Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye! Remember to leave a like and subscribe.